titties.
I was not expecting that. I was actually about to make a noise. I don't know what happened.
How did the sandal fall off? You know what? That's gonna be alright. Alright, that's the mic check. Good mic check, guys.
Kicking flavor, Saint Laurent. Watch how I walk. Let this paper be the reason why we talk.
Welcome to the first episode of our 2017-2018 fantasy season. I know we're probably like 10 weeks late.
Oh yeah,
It's been a little while. It's been a little while.
I promise it's not our fault.
It's not our fault. We've been having a lot of technical difficulty.
Technology's really been fighting us.
It has. So we apologize, but we're here. We're back. And
Better than ever.
we ready to talk about everything. Everything. No, I don't know about all that.
Okay.
But what we are going to talk about, I guess first of all, we're going to talk about this 12-man league real quick.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
That means we have two more extra people,
Yes.
and it's Chris and Ryan.
And Beneath.
But then it'd be a 13-man league.
Okay, what about you? How do you feel about the 12-man league?
To answer your question, I'm really glad that we took the risk of making the 12-man league. Just like how we went from weekly to daily.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a really scary switch, but as soon as the week started going along, I think everyone started liking it.
And I think it's
gonna
gonna make everybody better at the end of the day.
I'm just glad everybody agreed with it from the beginning.
Right. I'm so glad.
That's the
We had a lot of issues, by the way, for those who don't understand our sarcasm here. But, it's definitely been a big difference. And so I think
one way or the other, right? Even if it's only a 1-year experiment.
Oh, it's been great. I think it's been great. I think one of the things that we do need to definitely talk about next year is the center position.
Well, you are jiggling. That is.
I don't want to talk about
Boy,
it.
you look like Majin Buu.
that was real anger.
Boy, you look like Majin Buu right
Coming
there.
from real
We'll talk about it.
Okay, but
insert Majin Buu picture here.
yeah. But I think one of the things that we definitely need to talk about next offseason is instead of having that center position there, that center tag, but kind of changing it to center/forward. Where you can play a forward or a center, whatever you like. But the game has been changing so much that I feel like that's something that we definitely have to look into.
It's a really reasonable
I think it's
change.
reasonable for sure.
It's a little bit of a crutch, like I think Justin was saying when you first heard about it, right?
Right.
It does make it a little bit easier, but at this point, it's just becoming really, really hard. It's a hassle now.
It's more of a hassle. It's not even anything else. It's just more of an hassle anymore.
When people are trying to like Bob are rolling out Dwayne Dedman as a center, that's a problem. I have Alex Len.
Yeah,
it's a sad seeing some of the centers out there that shouldn't even be out there on the lineups.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, we starting off with.
Actually, since we're here, we can go ahead and because we never actually officially did it, but we can go ahead and not even introduce, but welcome the rookies. So welcome Vineet,
Hey y'all,
Ryan, and Chris. As obviously, Ryan has become a fan favorite in a minimum amount of time.
At least the top 5 people who had the first picks.
Top 5 greatest people of all time.
I think that was the greatest first pick that we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen a pick actually.
It was like Goku never left.
Yeah, after Gandhi.
I've never seen anybody walk into applauses the way that he did.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's ever walked into applause.
I mean, he had a standing O.
Standing O.
So,
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty crazy. So,
that
Ryan,
day will be Ryan Choco.
And then took a standing
D.
D from
the
everyone
Ryan
else.
Choco Day. That is a Ryan Choco Day.
Absolutely.
Vineet came in. He meant business from the get-go, and we're going to talk about his team a little bit later.
Yeah.
Did a couple trades draft day.
And Chris has just had it rough, so...
Chris we're going to have to talk about in a little bit, but we'll be right back. We're going to go ahead and get into the first couple teams, make our way all the way down. We're going to review or recap every team, not necessarily the draft, but how the season's been, the trades. We're going to get into everything. It's going to be a fun session, so stay tuned.
If young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. Beautiful morning, you're the sun of my morning, babe. Nothing in the morning.
2 2,000 years later.
So clearly, when we said we'll be right back, we meant another year later. Alex has had a whole haircut and shaved off his entire beard.
Yeah, all my hair fell off.
So it has been a while since we've done this, so we want to apologize. But we're here now. That's all that matters. And we're going to get right into it because it's been way too long.
Way too long.
So we're going to go ahead and go into the number one team in the league. And who is the number one team in the league?
Pam Beasley.
Pam Beasley.
Pam Beasley.
Who is?
Ugly as Nitin.
Nitin. Fun fact.
Please stop with the facts.
The son of Roger.
Tell me about his team. Why is he the number one team right now? What is he doing right? What is he doing wrong? What does he need to improve?
I actually have no idea because this is crazy. I think this is one of the first teams that we see so far that is successful building around a big man. You know, and we talked about this before the draft. How most of us didn't want to start with Karl Anthony Towns or Anthony Davis just because of the fact that there has been no history of anyone being successful with their best player being a big man.
Yeah.
And I think you had a stat the other day saying something about Rohit, and the last time he
was
4 and 16.
Yeah, he built
But
on
you tried
Davis.
Right, Anthony Davis. So, I mean, why is it working? I'm assuming it's because he has some good shooters around him with Avery Bradley and Klay Thompson and Paul George. But I mean, it's amazing so far what he's doing. It's definitely it's something else.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a big man like Cat either.
Yeah.
And I guess doing it around Davis probably wasn't the best big man to do it around.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The injury.
D'Angelo was a huge deal in Nitin's team, I think.
True, yeah.
And now he's chilling on the IR, so we'll see how that works out.
Right.
But D'Angelo was a huge piece to Nitin's team success.
It's crazy because the way that Nitin drafts is just kind of very anxiously, very
It's so like
clueless.
unsure.
Yeah. So I mean, and no disrespect, but like he in a way he knew what he was doing, but he didn't, and he has assembled a team that literally looks like it can take him a far way.
Yeah.
Down the road, and
Yeah, we didn't even mention Wiggins.
and we didn't mention
we
Wiggin, and he had a couple of players on like D'Angelo and Brandon Ingram, like who's on
It's
the
a little
come up.
similar to last year's team.
It is.
He had Cat and Isaiah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And Isaiah
It's
was.
a-
I mean, I don't think he has that second superstar, but
Right.
Nathan is 3-1. Who's he playing this week?
He's playing me.
He's playing you. Oh, and that's
Yeah,
actually been
matchup
bad.
already.
I'll give you one. I'll give you some advice, Nathan. Set your lineups.
No, Chowder.
Pretty please.
What the?
That'll probably go a long way.
Might for sure.
That goes the longest way.
But Nathan is 3-1 right now. He's doing well. He's sitting on top of everybody else, and we'll see where that goes.
That's why you're the GOAT. Such great advice.
Okay. Number 2.
Fantastic. It is Todd Packer.
Todd Packer.
Ruh-roh.
We talking about the rookie of the year. We talking about the man that just came in and wiggity did his thing.
For shizzle dizzle.
Wow.
On the phone, did a draft day deal and
Did everything.
just
man.
walked
We
in
were
like a
talking about.
mouse.
So,
Putting
so
this on your mixtape? What
so-
is going on here?
everybody.
Biggity beneath.
Beautiful taps.
So tell me one thing. Vineet kind of came in with a swagger
Right.
that some people have in the league and some don't.
Right.
What kind of sets him apart from everyone else? Why is he 3-1 as well? What is the difference?
I think my recommendation. I think that we start off there. I mean,
Is that what's brought him all this way?
I'll say yes. I'll take the credit. But I mean, he had a great most of your fantasy success comes from. I mean, he had a deal, like you guys say, he had a deal on draft day, and then he drafted Blake Griffin, Victor Oladipo,
Miles
like
Turner.
50 or 60, Miles Turner, Dennis Schroeder. He has a great, pretty decent
Oladipo?
bench. Oladipo. I mean,
He got Oladipo at 55.
right.
And these are all all top 50 guys now.
Exactly. And to me, I think he proved himself when he picked up Jalen Brown before Gordon Hayward went down.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's where it was. Okay, this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he already thought that Jalen Brown was gonna go off.
Right? Because I had Jalen Brown on my watch list and I was ready. I was like, okay, if he made any kind of, like,
yeah, it's crazy. I think I did too.
Yeah, I'm sure most of us, who've done this, it was like, okay, if he plays a little, like, on the first quarter, I was ready.
If he hits a 3 within the first few minutes,
I was like, all right, yeah,
he's gonna be
because exactly. But he had the hindsight to do that before he even went off. So props to him. Yeah. But yeah. Sorry.
He's a real competitive spirit. I think. He knows what he's doing.
He definitely knows what he's doing.
He knows how to construct a team,
picked up Nick Young, played him one game, dropped him
Yeah.
before he was trash, which he still is.
And that's a very good example of championship pedigree.
Absolutely.
Fantasy.
Right.
He kind of reminds me of, this is a very
Yourself.
crazy example. No, I was gonna say kind of like Magic Johnson when he got drafted. Magic just kind of came in and did his thing, and even when Kareem went down, Magic started as center. And he actually won Finals MVP that year.
Right.
So long story short, what I'm saying is Vinny just kind of came in, and this ain't his first rodeo. And so it was, even when Kyrie went down, even when Miles Turner had the concussion, he built his team so nicely that even when they were down, he was okay.
And if you notice, this guy's very quiet.
Yeah. He doesn't say much.
Not panicking.
And,
none of that.
So Vinny, absolutely great pickup. Rookie of the year, in my opinion. We're going to talk about that. Actually, we don't even need to talk about it because I think we all agree right now so far, Rookie of the year. But
great start.
Vinny is up there. Great start, man. You're doing just exceptionally well. And with that, we're going to get into the number 3 team, which is...
I thought we were going to come back, but no. Okay, cool. We're going to talk about Oda gang.
Oh, okay. So Vava's been impressive, but at the same time, he's not.
Expected.
Vava, I am absolutely expecting you to take that next step. Like, every year, some teams do really well, some teams do really poorly. Vava's just always kind of in the middle. Vava, this is your year to just take that next step and just be good. Be great. And, with Anthony Davis, really depends on his health.
Yeah.
But what is, I guess, in one word, how would you define his whole season?
Aaron Gordon.
That's 2 words.
Everything working out really well.
Aaron Gordon.
I think because I've been on Aaron Gordon's bandwagon for about a couple of years now, and I picked him up in the last couple of rounds, 2 back-to-back, and it just hasn't worked out. But finally, partially shout out to Rohit for yelling out the dang number.
What was that magic number? 132?
132.
That's just what I'd expect you to say. Dumb people are always blissfully unaware of how dumb they really are.
Yeah, in the middle of the draft.
When you say, I hope nobody gets whoever's at 132, I think somebody's going to look at who's at 132.
Maybe he was a little drunk.
Maybe.
Just a little bit.
But other than that, I know he got the center tag. Anthony Davis got the center tag.
Which is crucial.
So big for Bob. I think that was one of his biggest weaknesses, having to roll out Nerlens Noel every week and Deadman every week. So that kind of takes care of it. But other than health, I'm with Sanjay. I see him being up there.
Yeah.
He should take that next step at some point. But health between Anthony, his two best players.
How ironic, right? That we're expecting Vava to pop off this year,
right?
And Bradley Beal, Davis, and then CP, who's still on the IR but supposed to come back soon.
Tomorrow, I think.
These injury-ridden guys are the ones that are supposed to carry him.
Right? So and we all know how that is.
It seems like a really good year to do it, though.
Yeah.
Davis is holding up. Beal is holding up.
And it's not even just his team. I think a lot of times we expect, the teams like the Justins and the Rohits and the Gokuls to kind of just do a couple deals, get the team that they want. Now we have a 12-man league to where you're not going to be able to get those deals that you want. You're not going to be able to do those 2-for-1s without losing a lot of depth. On top of that, Gokul's out.
Right.
And everybody else is just looking for depth, looking for ways to kind of get their team right, and it's not just superstars anymore. So the way Vava built his team is an all-around team, and you kind of remind me of in Family Matters, where it's like Steve Urkel. You've been Steve Urkel your whole life. It's time to become Stefan, bro.
Yeah.
This year's your year to be Stefan, bro.
And that's a great point you were making about Gokul's out. I mean, it's not just that Gokul's out. One thing, mine and Rohit's team doesn't look that intimidating so far. I think it's a chance for a lot. I mean, I'm not saying like we're something great, but it's a chance for a lot of people like Alex, Vava, all these people were right there. This is the year I feel like a lot of people can take that step and really challenge for, becoming part of that next group of players who can get a back-to-back rings or whatever, So I'm excited about that to see what's going to happen. So
we were talking about how spread out and even the competition is this year.
Definitely.
Like every team has a legit, even a team like Chris, unfortunately, who is having a rough go.
One game out of playoffs.
Yeah, who's having a rough go. Still has a team of Nurkic, Melo, all sorts of guys that can go off at any moment.
Absolutely.
Porzingis and DeRozan.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's like, as long as you get in, if it's all even somewhat, 8 can beat 1 any day.
It takes a matter of a game or two.
Exactly.
That's it. So some guy not hitting a couple shots here and there.
That's all it
or
takes.
a steal here and there.
We've seen it before.
Yep.
So we're going to go ahead and take a break here. And we're going to go ahead and when we come back, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep it rolling. We're going to get through all the teams. We got hot take.
Maybe Alex will have a beard when you come back.
So,
who knows?
So don't go away.
Hey there, pretty girl. You know exactly what you.
Oh, welcome back.
Anyways, we'll go ahead and keep going. We're going to keep it rolling, and we're going to talk about this bright highlighter right next to me.
Yeah.
What is the deal? What is up with Alex? What is his record?
Why
is he
beardless?
And why is his record already better than his record from last year?
Well, he was trash last year, so it helps.
Yeah.
One thing. He sets his lineup this year.
True.
2, it helps. But other than that, it has to be depth. I mean, it is. He has some of the best depth I've seen, not in just a 12-man league, but in even like a 10-man league aspect. Because I think last couple of weeks ago, he had Chris Dunn on his IR, and they activated him. And it took him about 2 weeks and a mental error to drop him because he just had so many good players on his bench, So, I mean, I think he can explain more about why his team is so good, but depth, to me, that is the main key. I mean, Tyreek Evans.
I mean, he's picked up a lot of great. He had a lot of great pickups. Will Barton's been really well. He did that deal with Ryan for Al Horford and Chris Middleton for Gobert, who's out, and
for 6 weeks.
Drew
Holiday.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was a good deal, and I mean, I think the biggest surprise to me in his whole team, other than Tyreek, is Robert Covington. Covington actually just got an extension today, which I think he just got underpaid.
I think so.
I didn't even hear about the extension. What did he?
4 years, $62 million.
I thought
that's a steal.
Got a great deal.
That's about $16 million a year. He deserves. I mean, you see Bozos like making $20 million a year.
Yeah.
He deserves at least. Got 71, bro.
Bismack Boyumbo got 80 2 years ago.
Bismack did.
That's insane.
I mean, Robert, the way he's playing, definitely deserved at least $85 million, $80 million at least.
Yeah.
So shout out to Robert, but fun fact. I just get it, but really though, Robert Covington's actually 3rd in the league in threes made. Wow. He's behind James Harden and Eric Gordon. He is ahead of Klay Thompson and Steph Curry.
He has like 3.5 or something.
He has more threes than Curry and Klay on the season.
I know he took me out when I played.
So, I mean, Robert, and I wish the Rockets never gave up on him, but Covington.
We had Covington?
Yeah, we did. His second year or something.
We've had some
he was
nice
pretty
players.
good. He was decent, but they didn't want, Kevin McHale didn't like rookies and, like
developing players,
whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Alex has just been doing really well. Al Horford, I mean, there's Russell Westbrook. He has so many people that do everything.
And Russell hasn't even rounded into.
And he hasn't. And Alex is actually 3-1 right now. Yeah. Last year he was 2-16. So I mean that's a big difference. And I think he did that so he could win Most Improved this year.
Yeah.
So
that's one way to look at it.
And you never know. But I mean, I think the best part about this this particular team this year is not only the depth, but Westbrook isn't playing particularly well right now.
Right now, yeah.
The sky's the limit.
And I think once they figure out that little pecking order in OKC, the sky's the limit for for my squad. But until then, we'll have to see. You know, can Tyree keep it up? Will Barton keep a solid spot on the Nuggets guard rotation? You know, things like that.
We get it, Alex. You're good.
Oh, hopefully it holds up. Coming from a 2-time champ over here.
Okay, and the next team is
Toby Anderson.
Hey. All right, so
Hashtag Toby did it.
If I had a gun with 2 bullets and I was in a room with Hitler, Bin Laden, and Toby, I would shoot Toby twice.
hashtag question mark. What is going on?
Why don't you explain to us? Because
You
I
have
don't
those
know what your
trades.
team is.
Okay, well,
What's your identity, Sanjay?
Yes, I thought it was Cousins, and then I thought it was Wall, and then I don't know
Now I guess it's Ben Simmons.
until tomorrow.
I am the girl with no name. Oh, you don't watch Game of Thrones?
No.
Oh, okay.
You almost have
She has no identity. Okay, y'all need to watch Game of Thrones. It's actually a really good show. Anyways,
That was a wasted reference.
That was very wasted. I mean, honestly, you know, I did the Cousins deal. I got a lot out of it. Dwight's been okay. You know, he's been good.
For depth, right?
McCollum and Jeff Teague. I mean, Jeff Teague is balling,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, there were things that I had to do. I felt like in order to get depth, because this year, I mean, with the 12-man league, it's completely different.
No.
You know, I had Nick Batum in my IR, who just came back, and he just had a hell of a game for his first game, you know? Rondo came back, and he did his thing. So I have about 7 or 8 players that are decent. They're not, like, superstars, but they can produce, you know? And so after 4 years of, you know, first-round exits, I just have to try whatever I can now, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I am right now. It's just like, you know, I've done superstars. I've been trying to trade for them all these years. It hasn't worked. People get injured, whatever the case is. So now I'm just trying something different.
To me, I think the only thing that you're really missing is a lethal shooter other than McCollum.
Absolutely.
I think Teague's getting you your assists. McCollum surprisingly has fallen off with his assists. Draymond is your glue guy, who I think you're doing a pretty decent job of building around. I think that's what you're going for, right? Him and Simmons is that little tandem.
Yeah.
But I think all you really need is a solid shooter and maybe a decent center to help out Draymond. I understand he plays that center position.
Every
But
position on the board.
nah, just a shooting guard in the center. A nice shooter in the center.
I mean, I think he has so much depth when it comes to people like Payne, Rondo, Draymond, so Ben Simmons. I mean, most of them do so many. Even Jeff Teague has been doing multiple things. So I think at some point Sanjay will figure something out where he moves one of those hot pieces and gets a couple of depth, like you said, shooting and maybe a big man. But you know, Sanjay figures it. Yeah, he'll fit. Like I agree with the fact that okay, if this is something he's trying different, I'm very excited to see if this is going to work out. So because he has gotten he's very snake bitten in the playoffs.
Sanjay has this crazy knack though of getting guys off the waiver wire,
yeah, he does.
Selling them while they're really, really hot, and getting a lot back for them.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see who you pick up next,
Yeah.
or who you flip on your squad right now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's some ripe trades that are waiting to happen.
Trades?
Well, either way, Ryan hit me up.
And with that,
Speaking of Ryan, he's not next. We're going to talk about the birthday boy. For those who don't know, today is, in fact, November 15th. It is Bob's birthday. Bob is now 22. And he's having very good fortune right now.
Both of the James serving them very, very well.
Very well. Both James. And we're talking about Mr. LeBron and Mr.
Harden.
Oh, yeah. I forgot James is his first name, so that didn't work.
LeBron James Harden.
So, I'm going to ask both of y'all a question here. Considering that it is a 12-man league, is it possible to win around, we're trying to get depth. Is it possible to win around 2 megastars?
I think if we're going to see it, we're going to see it this year in the 12-man league.
and it's going to be his team. Who does
Yeah.
it?
it-
Because
it
if
will
there's
be a
2
squad.
superstars that can do basically anything and everything, that's LeBron and Harden. And I think you had a stat about Harden the other day that just blew my mind when it came to what was he, 6 threes?
So he's done something no one has ever done in the history of the league, and we're talking about the likes of Steph Curry, we're talking about Clay, we're talking about Reggie Miller, KD. I mean, Harden has had, prior to yesterday, I don't think he got it. Prior to yesterday, he had 5 games in a row of 6 or more threes. I mean, that you're talking over 30 threes in the amount of and I actually played Bob last week.
Right.
And, to be able to go against something like, and LeBron is just MVP right now.
Yeah.
And he's not playing like he's 33,
No.
you know? So, I mean, for those two to do what they're doing, is that, I mean, enough? Because they're not just doing enough. They are exceeding expectation. No one thought Harden was going to do better than he did last year. Because last year was crazy. Now he's doing ridiculous numbers.
Yeah.
And LeBron, same thing. 33 years old. He's just doing just crazy numbers. Is that enough?
I mean, Harden had almost a career night on 19 to 25 shooting.
Yeah.
You know, how are you supposed to fight that kind of efficiency off? The scoring, the assists, the rebounds between the two. I don't think you can fight it off if they both have 3 games that week.
And I don't think we're giving him enough credit for some of the guys that are around him.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
Dragic, Brook
yeah,
Lopez, even somebody like Lauri Markkanen, who's been kind of been pretty nice so far.
And he picked up the twins.
Steven Adams, yeah, he has both the twins on his team, so
Marquise Marcus.
Marcus.
yeah, that's my teammate. So it's so far so good. We'll see if the depth holds up, but
I think that's the only way that you can beat him, though, is a team that's just that much deeper than his.
Yeah.
You know, a team that can
So,
hit as many assists,
yeah,
grab as many rebounds as LeBron and Harden can,
right.
hit efficiently. You know, it's going to be that kind of team.
So I'll tell you, I did play him last week, and I'm not saying, I obviously beat him, but I'll tell you, every day was just like a very stressful day.
Yeah.
But the way to beat Bob, and it's such a stressful thing because you have to look at it every day, you have to just kind of hold on to 3 or 4 categories.
Yeah.
You just got to pray for that 50. And that's kind of what you have to do because
straight
at any time, and I think it was Nathan the week before he played him, LeBron went off for 50. Harden went off for 50.
Yep.
Right? So, I mean, like I said.
Nothing you can do at that point.
Yeah. So Bob has a great team. He's 2-2 right now, I believe.
Yeah, 2-2.
I mean,
he's a scary team, very scary team.
In a position like that where, someone pops off for 50 and another guy pops off for 50, maybe that week you just ditch points, and go for something else, go for another category. I think that's the only way you can approach beating his team.
Great. Speaking of ditching, I have to take a whiz. We'll be right back.
Bar mines on my jock, you heard me, yeah. I spent 60 on her, why she call me dad?
Welcome back. We are moving on to the champ, I believe, right?
We are Mr. Rohit,
Mr.
George,
Rohit,
dollar buckets, y'all.
Yeah, Sanjay, you were saying he started off 0-2, huh?
Start off 0-2.
Yep.
Since then, I mean, he has been picking
2-0.
it up.
Wow.
Yeah, he's doing
Mathematics.
switching it up.
Mathematics.
But I guess he had Jimmy Buckets at number 18. I think the 18
Yeah,
pick.
one of those 2 picks.
Been a really bad pick. I mean, so far. We don't know what Jimmy will do. He did say he'll be more aggressive. Jokic has been playing well. Lillard is playing well. I guess my question to you is, you have the 18th pick. You're in the draft. I guess obviously it's easier looking back. Who would you get with that 18th pick and why?
Man, I think with the 18th pick, it's hard not to pick up someone like Jimmy, because especially if he's like the 3rd piece to that team, because you got Jokic, which everyone was like, oh, wow, how did he fall?
Right.
You got Lillard, who was your point guard, which was solid.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy Butler being the 3rd piece to that team wasn't supposed to be, this Jimmy Butler.
Right.
But admittedly, it was a new team. We didn't know how it was going to work out. And since Jimmy made his quote about being more aggressive, he had
a little better. He had a couple of good games in there.
Yeah, 2 20-point games. And then he had a clunker against San Antonio,
right.
which, is understandable because it's Popovich. But, I mean, other than that, I think Roy's team just needs a little consistency, right?
I think that's what it is. I'm playing him this week, so I can definitely say, Butler did have a bad game, but he has a solid squad. Drummond has been playing a lot better. He's been shooting his free throws. Tim Hardaway Jr. has been a revelation in this past couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
But if I had to go back and knowing what I know now, Porzingis. I mean, it's easy for me now, to be like, oh yeah, I'll get Porzingis. But yeah, to what you were saying, if I already have Jokic and Lillard, you have to take Jimmy Butler there, and then that's just you got to do.
Have you played Rohit yet this year, Sanjay?
I don't think I have. I have not played him yet, so I mean I haven't really done I guess my research as far as matchup goes.
Yeah.
But I mean from looking at his team, I mean just because of the draft alone, he reached a lot. He reached for a lot of players. He got Drummond up 40, I think.
Which kind of paid off.
It did right now. It did. So I guess.
But then you could also look at it
y'all.
like, what if you reach for somebody like Oladipo or even a Capella instead? I think Capella's been doing better. But
So I guess this question that I have for you, only you can answer because you've won it before.
Yeah.
During the next season, after you won it, and you won it twice actually. So I guess that third season, even that second season, did you start getting a little, I guess,
complacent?
Complacent, exactly.
Absolutely. You do. You just. Well, I guess I did it in the second year because the first year a lot of people were just like, oh, that's
everybody
a
was
fluke.
getting it. Yeah.
Everybody was just learning it. There's no way you're gonna build a team like that. So not necessarily, but the third year, absolutely, man. You're just like, I won. What more do I need to do? And I'm sure I don't know if Rohit's really, because I think he is, because the Rohit usually does about like 10 trades by now, So I think Roy's just like chilling. I think he has more patience because of it. Maybe that turns out to be a good thing. Maybe he doesn't. But yeah, absolutely. To answer your question, you do get a little complacent, and I think for sure Roy's probably feeling that a little bit.
Yeah. And so, I mean, right before we get into the next team, real quick,
Yeah.
just want you to answer the question. He did the trade, obviously, for Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
Myth or legend? What is Lonzo going to do this year? Is he just all hype?
Or do you think?
Or do you think that he is just, I guess, reaching the surface of what he's going to be able to do the rest of the season?
Stay in your lane.
There's some rookies that I think you can believe in. I don't think Lonzo's one of them this year. Just because it's, first of all, Lakers don't look like they have, a real set plan on what they're doing. They're just kind of letting their guys go out there and play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Lonzo kind of has that attitude yet of kind of like demanding the ball and stuff and being aggressive with his shots. He's not even really much getting to the free throw line, which I think is the biggest problem. He's not getting his points from anywhere.
Right.
But there are rookies that you see like Ben Simmons, like Kuzma,
Right.
that you see in a certain attitude and that will translate into an actual game.
Right.
I don't think Lonzo's one of them. I mean, he'll have some crazy games, and I think he'll be a great player eventually. Just not this year.
I think it's a little bit of both, but I do think that a lot of the credit falsely goes to Lonzo, just because everyone's like, oh, he makes the team better, which he does to a point, but it's also because I feel like Brandon Ingram has taken a next step.
A big step.
Kyle Kuzma has been a lot better than people have thought. There's a big difference between Brook Lopez and Timothy Mozgov. There's not a lot of drama between the D'Angelo Russell situation, so that's part of it. But yeah, I agree with Alex on that he's going to take the next step probably later towards the year, maybe more next year than this year, and it's more of a myth.
So Lonzo's definitely stealing the show, but you know who's stealing more than Lonzo?
Who?
LiAngelo. Anyways, speaking of champs, since we're already on the topic, we're going to go ahead and go to the two-time champ, Mr. Jim Halpert, Mr. Justin.
Yes.
I guess since we were talking about that, what is going on with your team? Did you just want to pick the All-Star team from 2009? What is going on here?
I think partially a couple of my players have started off slow. Kyle Lowry and Millsap. Partially it's a little difficult building around Giannis, as in he gives you a lot and he doesn't when it comes to threes, and threes take up percentages, and that's almost 3 categories that you have to make up. So that's part of it. I do think a little bit I'm waiting on Isaiah. I think he's going to help me out when it comes to threes and points, and so a little bit is just being patient on some of my players. But trading season's opening up, fellas, real soon, so be ready. It's coming.
So with you, I mean, I guess you kind of see where he is now, and obviously Justin was the first. He won both years, the first 2 years.
Yeah.
So I guess every time we were trying to build a team, we were kind of looking at what he did.
Oh yeah.
Right. So
for sure.
Is there anything that he did those first 2 years that kind of helped you, I guess, assemble the team that you have today?
I think the biggest thing that I've used from seeing Justin's team building so far in the past few years of being in the league is going after a player you really believe in. I think if you think that he's going to pop off, more times than not, that guy is going to pop off. You just got to go with your gut, and you got to be willing to pay the price to get him.
True.
And I think that's something that I've taken into account. Like this year, I wasn't even thinking about trading my pick. until I realize that, I may have to move up just to secure a player.
Right.
And if that means giving up a pick later on, then so be it.
Right.
And I think that's the one mentality that I think I've tried to adopt from his style.
You're growing up fast, Morty. You're growing into a real big thorn straight up into my ass.
And it's working out. So
certain things are worth paying for. And
Yeah.
With Russell, that paid off big time because
Yeah.
I didn't even expect him to fall that far.
But I mean, like I said, I think you just gotta wait on a couple of guys. Like Lowry's hitting near triple doubles.
Yeah, it's
recently.
Games. Yeah.
Millsap's really the only guy that you gotta wait on now.
Right.
IT is gonna be a revelation, though. I think.
Hopefully, and that's the plan. Plan.
But no plan is a bad plan when you have Giannis Antetokounmpo. So,
shout out to the next man.
That is
after me for giving me that guy.
Okay.
It's a good segue. And with that, we're back, and we are going to start talking about the poo-poos.
The bottom feeders.
The bottom feeders.
Fish are friends, not food.
The first up on the bottom feeder list is Ryan Chaco, Sanjay's favorite person on earth.
All right, let me get
you get to talk about it.
Actually, the first 5 picks would get favorite person.
All right, Ryan Chaco. First of all, took Steph Curry before Giannis, before Harden.
Round of applause.
I mean, we already gave him the round of applause. Now let's get serious.
Yeah.
Ryan, it's cute. You are very cute. You're a very cute person. Doing the deal for Cousins really hurt.
Roasted.
You don't have any depth.
Boom. Roasted.
Boom. Gobert goes out. Boom. Steph Curry's hurt. I mean, that's a big issue, right?
Boom. Roasted.
So, without any depth, I mean, Ryan really is going to have to try really hard to make his way back up. Curry and Cousins is a great way to make this work. Other than that, everybody else has to fall into place.
Boom, roasted.
So, no, I'm not roasting him.
Hey,
he's doing great. You know what? He's doing okay.
Yep. Hey, quick thing. You can use an IR. We have an IR. You can put Gobert in there.
Yeah, you just you edit your lineup in the top right. It says manage IR. You can throw Gobert in there if you want, or just drop him.
And by the way, in a deal that says so-and-so gets Rudy Gobert, that means Rudy Gobert is a part of the deal.
Boom. Roasted.
But
boom, roasted.
Okay, no, but for real though, Ryan has been a great personality to have in the league. He's somebody that he's always ready to just trade, like he always just me up like, let's
yeah,
talk.
Thanks for actually responding,
yeah.
bro.
Well, no, honestly, that goes a long way.
That matters a lot.
It does.
That's all I have. That means something.
But, Ryan, 1-3, he's tied for the last seed right now. Obviously, we have a long way to go, but, I mean, with Cousins and Curry as the duo, anything is possible.
Anything's possible!
Absolutely. And anything is also possible for the next team, Richie Coconut.
I don't want to be
here.
V coming out soon.
Richie's team, go ahead.
Bledsoe came back.
Yes.
That's a good thing. Kawhi out a lot longer than we all thought.
Before we get into that, I just want to say, I'm sorry, Richie. I feel like every year somebody gets hit with the karma bug. Somebody. It was Alex last year, right?
It was Alex last year.
He did that deal for Rudy Gay and Klay Thompson for Anthony Davis, and Rudy Gay tore his ACL. The year before was Bob. The year before that was Rohit.
Yeah.
This year is Richie.
Yeah.
Richie, I don't know why. I don't know what you did. Fantasy wise, maybe it's because you don't respond to anybody. But I am sorry. Continue what you were saying.
Yeah, we're all sorry, by the way. But yeah, well, who else? Whiteside, Marc Gasol. These guys are amazing players, and to be honest, Richie's team was one of the people we were scared about.
Yeah, we were in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I mean,
we thought Kawhi was going to be back in a week or two.
Whiteside.
Yeah. I mean, Kawhi hasn't been back, and we really don't know how he's going to be when he comes back. So that's part of it. And I think until you know that, we don't know how to judge this team. And it's a 1-3 team right now, and the shit can sink really fast.
I think the craziest thing is we don't even know what reports to believe about Kawhi. Yeah. Because some are saying that he's going to come back later. I just read something that said Pop said he's going to come back sooner rather than later.
And I read something that he's going to come back in January, so you just don't know.
Exactly. I read something that said later than later.
Yeah.
So who knows what to believe in?
An hour later.
But Richie definitely has to I mean, he needs everybody healthy before we can even judge his team.
Yeah, wait till long season.
But again,
I mean, luckily that Eric Bledsoe
too late by then.
Exactly.
That's the question you have to answer.
And the way that this, I mean, with 10 teams making it to playoffs, I mean, that's a big step up because now, I mean, you can be bad or, not do so well and still manage to make it.
I mean, he's got Fournier too, so.
Yeah.
So he has a squad. He just needs to be healthy. Yeah, right. So
next team up.
I'm very sorry for the technical difficulties. We had to redo this video because, like I said, we've been struggling with this for the last 2 weeks. I don't know what it is. But we're going to go ahead and go on with Ashik's team.
KD's nuts. Tired of looking at the picture.
I got to say, I am tired of looking at KD's parangandis. We're going to need you to change the picture.
How did KD get albino nuts?
Second of all, why does it even have, stubbles? Yeah. It has more hair than Alex right now.
Yeah. Wow, you were about to say Ashik.
No,
Wow. In our pre-recording, you said Ashik.
No, you did.
I
have in our technical difficulties.
I have evidence. How dare you? First of all, wow, you have a great team. I just want to talk about that. Kevin Durant, John Wall, you are not supposed to be 1-3.
And Kemba, DeAndre,
Robin Lopez. The fact that he has 2 centers and I have
what's his name?
Alex Len.
Rondé. What is
Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
Yeah,
Rondé Hollis Jefferson is a very good pickup. He was actually supposed to do this last year. But with Ashik, I mean, he's 1-3, and he's kind of like with Vava in the sense that I thought he was going to take the next step, and he still is. I still think he will. With Kevin Durant and John Wall, I mean, as your duo, I mean, is it really possible to not make playoffs?
Yeah, we were saying that it was just as scary playing them as it is playing Harden and LeBron. Yeah. Because you never know when KD could go off for a career night or John Wall could drop
and we didn't even talk about the
assists.
rookies that he has. He has Dennis Smith Jr., Kyle Kuzma, and Donovan Mitchell, who we picked up, who's been balling. Man, I'd be very surprised if Ashik is not where he always has been. Right around the middle of the pack. Giving whoever plays him in the first round a tough matchup. So
you were saying he starts off like this every year, right?
Every year, he always kind of starts off in a weird little way, maybe 1-3, 2-2 kind of thing, and he at some point in the middle he kind of takes off, like
a 4-0, 5-0.
4-0, yeah. He always does that. So I think it's coming.
And I think we're talking a lot about Kevin Durant. We're talking a lot about John Wall. But we're not talking about Kemba Walker.
Yeah, who's been
and Kemba Walker is somebody that can definitely be a top 25 player. Mm-hmm. So I mean, Ashik being 1-3 is not.
Can be. I think he is top 25.
I mean, yeah, he is top 25. Yeah. So I mean, being 1-3, he is tied for the last seed technically if this regular season ended today, but. We have a long way to go.
Yeah, it's so competitive. The last seed isn't really a last seed.
Absolutely. So actually, speaking of the last seed, who is actually last.
Actually, he's the only one who has everybody else is somebody.
Everyone's tied.
Oh, no. 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 No, 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 no.
Oh, look at you, Chris. You're so special.
Chrissy
special as a unicorn.
Chris, first of all, 0-4, that's tough.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
Second of all,
really tough.
That picture, that got to be rough. Because I don't know why you would ever put another man's horn as your profile picture. Third of all, what is wrong with Carmelo's back? Why did he not play? Better yet, actually, not even that. Why is Thaddeus Young averaging 15 points a game and couldn't score 1 point when you needed him the most?
Double roast.
What do you think? How do y'all feel about Chris's team? Is this just something he's going through? Is he going to bounce back? Or is this kind of what his season is just going to look like?
Well, I mean, we just saw Embiid have one of the greatest nights we've seen from somebody, almost a quadruple-double with the blocks and assists. I think it's just a little rough patch. He maybe has to package one of his centers, like you were saying, because he has too many, with that guy Conley and maybe get a nice guard. But what were you saying about his center overload, Justin?
So that's what I was saying when we were talking about it before. I think he just has a little bit of roster crunch right now. He has he's actually one of the few teams who has like 4 centers, and most of them are pretty
quality
centers. I mean, different quality, but still quality centers who should be on rosters because he has Joel Embiid, Jonas Valanciunas, Nurkic, and John Collins, and I think only Collins can play forward. So I think once he figures that out, he'll get more of a roster. Just balance out his roster a little bit. I mean, I don't see him being old for too long. You know, I don't. So
I think on his squad, there's just too many talented guys for him to be.
Absolutely.
Winless for the next couple of weeks, I think, and it looks like he might get his first win because of Embiid.
Because of Embiid this week, yeah, I agree. Couldn't.
And it's not just a win. I mean,
it's a huge win.
It is a big win because he's playing Bob.
Oh wow.
The guy that's
Bob
favored.
You know, he's heavily favored.
Yeah,
so, I mean, like I said, I don't think it's. I think it's too soon, probably to hit the panic button.
Yeah, nothing's in concrete.
For you to actually be able to go head to head with someone like Bob.
Right.
I mean, it should say a lot about your team.
Absolutely.
I mean, being 0-4, a lot of it was because of bad luck, but definitely, I mean, this has been the tightest the race has ever been. You know, we can normally tell who's kind of at the bottom of the pack and who's kind of the top.
Yeah,
by now.
There's usually a clear separation
exactly.
from like the top 3 or 4, and then the rest.
And then sometimes, towards the middle of the year, somebody takes off. That's a surprise. But right now, we have no idea.
6 teams are 3-1.
Yeah.
A couple are 2-2. A couple are 1-3. And Chris is 0-4.
Yeah.
But like I said, everything can change. You know, throughout the course of the season, we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
And I guess that'll kind of lead us into hot takes since we only have a couple minutes left. I'm gonna ask a couple questions.
Can you run through these real quick?
And I just want y'all just very quickly just to kind of explain why you're choosing what you do.
All right.
And I'm gonna give y'all a couple options. So the first one is actually Rookie of the Year, and
our fantasy
for fantasy.
Yeah.
So 3, 2, 1.
Beneath.
You know what? You don't even have to explain why.
We're not.
I think we know why. Beneath is gonna win Rookie of the Year for sure.
Him and Simmons got it.
Him and Simmons got it locked up both ways, and same reasons.
Exactly. And so the next hot take question is: are you Team Chris or are you Team Ryan? 3, 2, 1.
Ryan.
Chris, 0-4. 0-4 start is really sad. I just want to see that turnaround.
Cousins and Steph, I gotta go with that. I think at some point Talon wins out and he's gonna win out, but man, both y'all get off the weed.
Off the weed.
He's
been waiting for that. I don't think y'all know how many takes we had
to do that, and how many times we've had to hear it and feel it. Anyways, next question: who is going to take that next step, Nitin or Vava?
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Vava.
Nitin.
Yeah, I'm just saying Vava because the team's really complete, and we're seeing all of this from Davis, Beal, and everyone without Chris Paul at the center of the his fantasy mix-up. I think that's gonna be huge.
Well, partially because I've been on with Vava for like 3 years now, and I just gotta choose something different. But partially because Nitin has kind of made a similar team last year, and I think he knows what. Because you can kind of use your experience to build something better, and I think he's gonna do that this year. So I think it's Nitin.
Okay, relationship advice.
The final hot take question of the night: who will be our 2017-2018 fantasy champ? 3, 2, 1. Vava.
Bobby J.
Bobby J. It is.
Wow.
Yeah, Bobby J. Just because that LeBron James Harden combo, that thing is too hard to beat when they both go off for 3 games each week. So.
Yeah. I think he yes, absolutely, but I also think he has more depth than most people give credit for. So I believe he's gonna do that, and because he's my teammate. Yeah,
that's cute.
Vava, please don't make me look like a fool. Okay, I've been through the Max Sauce days. I've been through the trifecta days. I even went through the no superstar phase. What was that? What was that called? No superstar. No,
I forgot what it was.
No new stars.
No new stars.
Oh man, that's a long time ago.
I even went through. What was that one name that he had? It was like the really long, stupid name.
You said trifecta, right?
Yeah. It was a name.
Was it with Russ?
It was Sir Russ something. What was it?
I don't know, man.
We've had a lot of really bad.
The point is, Baba, he stuck with you through thick and thin.
This is your year. I'm expecting you to take that next step. Your team with Davis, and it all has to do with health. This is your year.
We low-key all are kind of expecting you to make a big jump.
Okay, and that says a lot because there's a lot of people in this league that are ready to go ahead and do that. This is your year, Vava. Make me proud, Bo.
Bo or Bo?
Make you proud, baby.
I'm gonna say boo. Then I'm gonna say bro.
Daddy's watching.
Anyways, guys, we appreciate y'all staying.
This is like our 100th take. I just hope you guys know how much we care.
It's 1 a.m.
We've done this take like 15 times.
All right.
Too many times.
I know it's a long one, but y'all gonna deal with it because this is like our 100th time doing it.
So y'all better watch
this. But we appreciate y'all. All right.
Brush your teeth
when you shower, when you
whatever.
sleep.
All right. Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. We hope you'll have a great one. We hope you have a great season. The
Your
next
mother,
couple
your father,
podcasts are not gonna be this long, so we're gonna be good.
Tell that.
But all right, hopefully we're gonna see everybody up at the top, and that's not possible. But I want everybody to be tied.
Yeah, everyone be 9 and 9.
Woohoo!
Yeah, everyone
All right.
wins.
I don't know what the hell is going on anymore. They're tired, so we're gonna call it a night. Y'all have a good one, man.
All right.